to a new episode of the Bubbles and Berries podcast. My name is Ode and I am coming to you from Edinburgh in Scotland, and this is my podcast where I talk about knitting, about sewing, about embroidery, all the crafty stuff that I enjoy doing. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back and for being so patient. It has been, again, a while since the last episode, but I guess that's the theme this year. And if you are a new viewer, welcome. I hope you will enjoy this episode, and if you do, feel free to subscribe. I'm gonna go straight in because there's a fair amount of things that I would like to share with you. I'm gonna do it the usual way: finished objects, works in progress. I have some really fun acquisitions to share with you, and then a little bit of shop news, life update, the usual podcast recipe. Let's start then with finished objects. I have 6 finished objects. 4 of them are knitting and 2 of them are sewing. And the first one, I guess we're going to start with knitting because I am wearing it, and this is my Ferny corner shawl. This is a shawl that was designed by the lovely Emma of Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. in her own yarn, and I really love it. I was knitting on it, I believe, the last time I recorded, and obviously that was so long ago that this project has been finished for a while, and I'm really enjoying it. It's quite light, like lightweight, but still really warm, and yeah, it's really nice. So let me, instead of just babbling, let me give you all the details. So the yarn is, like I said, Woolly Mammoth Fiber Co. yarn. You don't have to use her yarn, obviously, but when she released the pattern, she released it along with yarn kits, and so I bought that. And this is the yarn that I use. I mean, you can see it obviously in the shawl. I'm going to take it off and show it better in a minute, but you can see it in the shawl. But this is the yarn that I used. She had, oops, the ball is rolling. She had kits, all the kits had that natural gray undyed. Hold on, let's get this under control. Right, this natural gray undyed yarn. It's blowing up a little bit because I'm sitting right by the window, but yeah, it's really lovely gray. And then another one that is dyed, and so I picked this neutral brown one, and the shade is called Winter Bracken. The yarn is a fingering weight yarn, 4-ply, and it's made of 25% Gotland and 75% BFL. It's 350 meters per 100 grams, so maybe on the heavier side of fingering weight, but yeah, it's really lovely, sourced, spun, and made in the UK. So yeah, lovely yarn. I have like you can tell, I used a lot more of the gray than the brown, so I have a lot more of the brown left than the gray. Although she did say in her pattern that, like, if you were knitting to gauge, like, you might be playing a bit of yarn chicken with the gray one. I think she finished her own sample with like maybe 2-3 grams left. I was a bit bold and daring, and I didn't swatch, and I just crossed my finger that things would be fine. I think I ended up having a slightly smaller gauge. I'm a fairly tight knitter, and so I have plenty of yarn left. I have about 9 grams left, so it worked for me. When I looked on like Ravelry, the project pages of the testers and all of this, like, I don't remember seeing one where someone needed to use more than 100 grams. Like, some people used all of 100-gram skeins, but a lot of people also had a little bit left over. And then of the brown one, I have about 45 grams left, so could make something decent with that. I don't really know what yet, but we'll see. Let me show you the shawl itself. So it's a crescent, I think that's what I call, like, a crescent shape shawl. Let me see if I can show it. Oh. It's nice in that it's quite wide, so it's easy to, like, wrap around yourself. It's not super deep, which I don't mind. I like it. I like deeper shawl, but I like this one as well, so very happy. And so yeah, so you have all the gray bit is garter stitch, and then all the brown bit is a lovely lace pattern that was really fun to knit, really easy. If it's like, if you're not a big lace knitter or anything like that, it's really nothing to fear. Yeah, it was really easy to knit, and it was really nice to see it sort of stretch out and open up when I blocked it. And yeah, then you have a bit more garter stitch, and then you have a couple of rounds of the brown, and then a picot bind off. So yeah, very lovely. Like I said, very drapey, very lightweight, obviously, because it's just one strand of fingering weight. I think it's knit, I don't remember, but I think it's knit on 4mm, or that's what she calls for the pattern. In the pattern, that's what I did as well. So it's quite a loose gauge and an airy fabric, and I think it's really, really lovely. It is quite nice to wear. It is very slightly prickly. I wouldn't say it's itchy and I have to take it off, but it is a little bit prickly, which I think might be the BFL. I don't know. I don't really know. It's nothing that I mind. Like, I'm really happy to wear it. It's a, like, if it were like maybe a sweater that was right against my skin all the time, that might be a bit of a different story, but it's a shawl. Like, I don't have the shawls usually like wrapped around me like all day long. Like, I put it on, take it off, like, yeah. So I'm completely fine with it. So yeah, that's my Ferny corner shawl. I would definitely recommend the pattern. Really lovely to knit. Great way to use like 2 skeins of fingering weight, or even like 1.5 skein of fingering weight that you might have in your stash. Lots of people have made it, I think, now. Some of them with the kits, and some of them with like random yarn, not necessarily like woolly mammoth yarn. So yeah, you can look on Ravelry or Instagram for a bit of inspiration, but I would recommend it. Kind of like it. It's my second shawl that I'm knitting this year, and I never really knit or worn shawls before, but I'm a convert, I think. I'm a big fan. I like it. So yeah, that is finished object number 1. I don't think there's anything else that I want to say about it. I don't really know what I'm going to do, like I said, with the like 9 grams of the gray yarn. I don't know what I'm going to make. I might make like maybe a cuff on a sock or something, or on mittens, because I guess like a cuff on a sock would not be worn, or like worn and torn as much as the heel or something, so that would work, but it's not very much yarn left. The brown one, I have 45 grams left, so that's the fair amount. I need to figure something out. Maybe, I don't know, could you squeeze mittens out of 45 grams of fingering weight yarn? Maybe. I need to have a look. Anyway, moving on to, I don't know if you heard that, the cat is in the other room and is sneezing. All right, I think he's done. The second finished object was also a work in progress in my last episode, and so it's been finished for a while, and it is a pair of socks. It is the Homebody socks by Helen Stewart, and this is what they look like. So I've got the 2. They're finished and blocked, kind of blowing out a little bit. It's quite bright today, but yeah, let me show you a bit closer. They're very lovely. I like that pair of socks a lot. So like I said, it is the Homebody socks by Helen Stewart. It is a sock pattern that is designed for DK weight yarn, although it's my second time knitting it, and the first time I knit it, I did it in fingering weight. The pattern repeat is I think it's like 4 stitches or something, so it's quite easy to convert to have more stitches and more repeats to do it on fingering weight. But yeah, so I did mine in DK this time around, and the yarn that I used is lovely yarn by a farm called Anfield Farm in Fife in Scotland, and it is a no nylon, non-superwash sock yarn, and this specific one is made of 70% mohair and 30% Shetland, about 250 grams per not 250 meters per 100 grams, sorry. And the colorway is natural, is they're undyed. They also sell it, they have some dyed ones, but yeah, I just chose the undyed. So that's what I have left over. I have about 25 grams left over. And yeah, it made for a very lovely pair of socks. It's quite nice to knit. I really enjoyed knitting it, like nothing, I don't know, like nothing really, I like the feel of rustic yarn. So yeah, I didn't mind like having it in my hands all the time when I was knitting at all. And yeah, it's very warm. Like that is probably the warmest pair of socks that I own. And even though we've had the most horrendous summer that I have experienced since moving into the UK, it's still too warm to wear those socks. I wear my other socks, my the ones made out of like superwash merino, because I don't think those are as warm. But yeah, those are way too warm, so I'm gonna keep them for autumn or winter. And yeah, I'm very pleased with them. I'm gonna show you the little pattern again. It's very easy. It's not a cable. It looks like a cable, but it's not. It's super easy to knit, and then it's like a rib, like a, I don't know, 3x1 or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, very lovely. Knit top down, or like cuff down, which is how I like to knit my socks, with the normal like heel flap and gusset. And yeah, I would like, obviously I haven't worn them much yet, so I can't really tell you how this specific yarn wears, but I will let you know later when I do, like maybe at the end of the winter or something, when I have worn them quite a bit. I can show you again those socks and tell you how they've worn. I have a feeling that it will be just fine. Again, I mean, obviously the way your socks wear also depends on like how you wear them. Like, do you wear them out and about in boots and things like that? Do you not? I personally do not really wear my hand knit socks outside. Usually because they're a bit thicker than my regular like cotton shop bought socks, and so they're a bit too thick to go into my shoes and make my shoes feel too tight or whatever. Anyway, I don't usually wear them outside the house, but I do wear them all day at home. In like, I use some like kind of like Birkenstock kind of sandals as like home slippers. So this is how I wear my socks. So obviously not the most hard wearing on my socks, but still it will be interesting to see how those do. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this project. The yarn I purchased, I think I mentioned before, I bought it. I bought it at the British Wool Producer Showcase Festival in Perth in, I want to say March or early April this year. I can't remember exactly. And yeah, really like it. I'll happily knit with this yarn again, maybe in other colors, maybe try the fingering weight version, because that's the DK weight, but obviously they also do the fingering weight, so maybe try the fingering weight version and see how that is. But yeah, very happy with this project, and I have fluff in my nose and that makes it itchy. Anyway, moving on. I hope I'm not going too fast, but there's not much more to say. If you have questions, obviously let me know in the comments below, but yeah. All right, moving on. The next project is a hat that I made for my husband. And so if you've been here for a while, you may remember that last year I made my husband a single malt sweater in a purple yarn from Ferny. I bought this yarn on a cone. It was an 850 gram cone. They also do 500 gram cone, but that would not have been enough. 850 grams was more than enough. Like, I think I needed like 600 or something. So yeah, I have quite a bit left over. So I thought, and I don't really personally usually wear purple. I don't think it's a color that suits me, especially in top things like jumpers and things. For socks, I don't mind at all. As you will see, like I have another project that's a purple pair of socks. But yeah, so this yarn is for my husband and I need to use the rest and make things for him. And so I started by making him a hat, because he wears hats all the time. So here's the hat that I made for him. Here's the purple yarn again. Let me show it to you closer. So it's the lovely purple, but it's got like pinks and blues and all kinds of colors in it. Really lovely. And yeah, so it's a rib hat. It's a 2x2, I think. And then it has this nice kind of like detail here on the brim. And yes, so I made this for my husband in I think in June. Yeah, in June. It was like a present. In early June is the anniversary of when we met, when we first started dating. And so yeah, we celebrate it every year. And so I made him this hat as a gift, and he likes it a lot. He's worn it quite a bit already. And yeah, so the yarn, like I said, is the JC Rainey yarn. And is there oh shoot, what did they call it? I think it's called the chunky lamb's wool. So it is lamb's wool. It's not chunky, like it's more Aran weight, but they call it the chunky lamb's wool. And this is the colorway blueberry. And the pattern is from this lovely book, Salt and Timber, by Lindsay Fowler, and it is called the Firewood cap. Let me get the pictures for you. How can I show you without showing the instruction? Right. Oh, there you go. So this is what it looks like. Is there any more pictures? It is a very, very quick knit, a very lovely knit, a very easy knit as well if you're new to knitting. It is knit from the brim up. But yeah, it is very, very nice. It is recommended to knit on like kind of Aran weight kind of yarn, which worked for me. It was on 4mm needles, so it's a bit of a dense fabric, which I think for a hat is quite nice. And what's really nice too is it comes in 5 sizes, starting from children's small going all the way to adult large, which is what I did for my husband. I did the adult large and it fits just fine. I mean, the rib is very forgiving, isn't it, right? Like it stretches so much that it will fit. It's unlikely that it's gonna be like too loose or too tight. It would just like stretch out more or less depending on the size of your head, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, that's the Firewood cap or hat or cap, I don't remember, from the Salt and Timber book in that lovely purple yarn. My husband's very happy with it. He wears it a lot, and yeah, he's happy when I make him hats, because I've made him socks a few times, but he said he's had enough pair of socks now. He doesn't need any more. So okay, you know, like, is there really such a thing that like is like too many pairs of socks such a thing? Maybe not, but like he says there's no limits on hats, so I'm very happy about that, because also hats are faster to knit than socks, and they don't take a lot of yarn, and so I can use up a lot of like scraps and stash stuff to make hats for him. So yeah, very happy. He has been wearing it a little bit lately because, like I said, we're having the worst summer ever. It's just that we had 2 weeks of warm weather and sunny weather in June, and that's it. Since the beginning of July now, it's not cold, which is kind of weird. Like, it's not that cold. It's about like 17 degrees, which is quite pleasant, but it's just raining. It's raining all the time, and yeah, it's been like that for like over a month now, and I don't know, hopefully August will be better, but who knows. So yeah, I mean, good thing is that you can still wear some of your knits, like not all of them obviously, because it's not like cold enough for like big sweaters, but like accessories like that is still good. So yeah, that is finished object number 3. Let me have a little sip of tea. Before it gets too cold, and then I will move on to finished object number 4, which is the last of my knitting finished objects, and then I have a couple of sewing ones. So finished object number 4 is another pair of socks, and it is this lovely pair of socks. got the two here. Now let me tell you about this. So let's start with the pattern. So the pattern is called actually no, let's start with the yarn. So the yarn is another no nylon non superwash sock yarn that I bought from Wild and Bare Fibers, who is a yarn dyer in the UK. This is what I have left. I've actually gone around, like, I've gone through my whole stash of leftovers or like bits of leftover yarn, wound them all into nice balls, and then put the tag back on with the amount of grams that I have left, just to make it easier for myself when I need to just use bits of yarn, so I know like how much I have. Anyway, digressing. So this is a no nylon non superwash sock yarn by Wild and Bare Fibers, who is a lovely UK yarn dyers, and this specific base is very unique, which is why I was attracted to it. It's called the Down Tour Sock, and it is made of 89.5% blend of Exmoor, Horn, Dartmoor and Texel sheep yarn, and then 10.5% Tencel, sourced in Cornwall, Devon and Hampshire, spun in Cornwall, and I think dyed in Cornwall as well. And about 350 meters per 100 grams, so again a bit of a plump fingering weight, and the colorway is called Sky 1. It is this lovely like lilac, like not faded but like muted lilac color, which I absolutely love. And when I got this yarn and I saw the color in person, which is like very similar to the photo on the website, like this color to me screams Miss Marple. Like if you've watched those Miss Marple series, like you will know what I mean. It's just screams Miss Marple to me. I love it. I'm a massive fan of like cozy murder mysteries. I absolutely love it. And so I was like, I need to find like a Miss Marple inspired pattern. And so this is what I did. I looked up on Ravelry, and then I found these socks by a designer whose actual name I don't remember, but her Instagram name and Ravelry name is called This Handmade Life. And these socks are the St. Mary Mead socks, which if you know Miss Marple, you know that St. Mary Mead is the village where she lives somewhere in England. And yeah, I love it. It was really fun to knit. I did it a bit differently. So the pattern is written for socks knit toe up. I don't really do toe up socks. I haven't really tried it, if I'm honest. I'm also kind of lazy when it comes to socks, and I kind of like the familiarity of the way I usually do it, which is top down, like cuff down with a heel flap and gusset and round toe. And just because I know how to do this, and socks to me are more mindless projects, so I'm happy to go with that. It's also the way my grandmother used to knit socks, so I have a bit of a, I don't know, sentimental attachment to that way of knitting socks. I don't know if that's silly, but yeah, anyway, that's just the way I do it. So for this pattern, because it was written toe up, basically what I did is I flipped the chart around, and or like I read the chart the other way and did it cuff down. That also means that on the pattern, like here you can see that maybe little pattern, like little V's go like down, I guess, and on the original pattern there go the other way. So, but honestly, I really don't care. I really like them that way. So yeah, that is these socks. These are my Miss Marple socks, and I really love them. Once again, really lovely yarn to knit with. Not that smooth like feeling of the merino nylon superwash yarn, like definitely a rustic yarn. It feels that way in your hands, and not scratchy, and not, I guess, not prickly, but like I've said before, I think in previous episodes, I don't know, I guess I'm a bit peculiar about the way I use my socks, but I don't usually wear my woolen socks directly on my feet. It's like a sensory thing. I don't like the feeling of wool like under my feet. It makes me feel weird no matter what kind of wool it is. It's just, I don't like it at all. I do like wearing hand knit socks though, and I do absolutely love the warmth that they provide. and so I usually just wear them over cotton socks and it's fine. So yeah, it means that it also removes that itchy factor if there is one, so I can't really tell you if it would be like super itchy. It's not itchy through like a thin pair of socks, that's for sure, so it's probably not very itchy either, like if you wore them directly on your skin. But yeah, it is rustic. It's not this like the softness of a superwash yarn, but like I don't care, I really like it. And they're also very, very warm. So again, I haven't been able to wear them yet, but I can't wait to start wearing them. And yeah, I guess that's like I guess that's a bit of a theme now. Like I've actually like that's 2 pairs of socks now that I've shown you that I've knit in non-nylon, non-superwash yarn, and that's a bit of a project that I've set for myself just out of curiosity. I don't have anything against like merino nylon superwash sock yarn. I think that's great. I have tons and tons of pairs that are made out of those yarns, and they're so practical and they're so beautiful. Like they're hand dyed, they're absolutely amazing. They're a joy to knit and they're easy to wash, and like yeah, I love them too. So I'm not saying like, oh, those like superwashed yarn are so bad. I also have a ton still left in stash that I want to knit, like absolutely not. But I am curious, I am definitely curious about no nylon, non-superwash sock yarns and sort of like alternatives wools like that are used for those, and like why those wools are being used and all of this. And so I've set this little project for myself without any pressure at all to like try out no nylon, non superwash yarns that I could find, preferably things that I can access easily in the UK. Like I'm not too keen to like order stuff from abroad. So either stuff that is maybe like foreign yarn, I mean like yarn that comes from outside of the UK, but that have stockists, like shops in the UK that resell those, and so buying them from those shops, or just things coming from UK based yarn makers or yarn dyers, which is what I've shown you so far. Like the first one was undyed, although it comes in different colors. It was from a farm in Fife, so Fife is really close to Edinburgh, it's really close to where I live, and this one is from England. So I will do that over the next few months. I'll show you in my acquisitions later. I have a lot of that kind of yarn for this project, which I'm really excited to try. And I thought if you are interested, I could do a little video later on, maybe like next spring or next summer, maybe a year from now, like going over the yarns that I've used, to how I like the knitting experience of using those yarn and how they've worn, based on how I wear my socks, obviously, because that's different for everyone. But yeah, I thought I could do a bit of a special episode on the no nylon, non superwash sock yarns that I have tried. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if that's something that you might be interested in. I know that I've said that I was going to do one about like yarn cones, because I knit a lot from cones, and that's absolutely still in the works. I'm still like using up my cones so I can make that video for you. So hopefully it will come again, probably next year, like next spring or something. I don't know. I will keep you posted, but I thought maybe I could do something similar for no nylon, non superwash sock yarn. So yeah, let me know. I have a lot more to talk about on that subject in the acquisition section, and I can't wait to share that with you because I'm really excited. But yeah, lovely other new pair of socks, the St. Mary Mead, my Miss Marple socks. I love Miss Marple. And yeah, moving on. All right, I'm going to move on now to the 2 finished objects that are sewing. 2 of them are tops, like shirts, short sleeve shirts, and the first one is this one. Let me take it back so you can see it. I'm not going to hold it for too long because I think the gingham pattern can do weird things on camera, but yeah, it's a lovely short sleeve shirt with a little pocket and like a lapel kind of neckline. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, the fun thing about the fabric is that on one side, so the fabric is the cotton, 100% cotton double gauze, and on the one side you have like large checks, and then on the other side you have like small ones. So depending on which side of your fabric you choose to be the wrong side or the right side, then you have this big, like it shows on the pocket, I chose the other side, and it has this fun effect. The fabric is from Atelier Brunette, which is a French brand of fabric, but you can find it very easily in the UK. I think it's just called gingham in the colorway Rust, I want to say. And the pattern is also a pattern from them, from Atelier Brunette. They have a few basic patterns. They're not a pattern company, so they don't have a lot, but they have a few, and it's called la chemisette, which means like the shirt. Like I think usually like the shirt with short sleeves. Yeah, it's a word that I know, like I've heard a lot of people use speaking French, but it's one that I don't really use myself, so I don't, and I feel like it's one that refers to maybe a different item, like slightly different items of clothing depending on where you live in France. So yeah, never mind. It's just a short sleeve. It's quite oversized. It's very, very comfortable. Like double gauze is a super comfortable kind of fabric, very cool on like hot days. It will keep you cool, but it's also quite airy, so I think it traps the heat quite well. On like colder days it can keep you a bit warmer. And yeah, there's the sleeve roll up like this. There's a button on, I made a fake button because I'm not going to unroll them, so I did sew like a buttonhole just for the aesthetic, and then sewed a button there. Same thing on the other side, and then it's got like buttons down the front obviously. And yeah, very oversized, very comfy. I really like it. Would I recommend this pattern? Maybe not. Well, yes and no. I would recommend it for the shape and the pattern pieces and the sizing and all this. This is great. The instructions are not so great, I have to say. They're a bit sparse, and also I think like there's some mistake somewhere, because there's a few bits where I could not understand what I was supposed to do. And then there's one bit in particular that like what they asked to do to me was completely wrong. And thankfully I have a bit of sewing experience. I have done shirts using another pattern that has that is like a similar shape and so a similar construction, and so I could refer to that. But like, yeah, basically what it did is that if you look here, you have how can I show it? Right, so you have like all of this is one pattern piece up to that point, and then you have the collar is another one, and then you have like a little facing inside. So you need to have your collar trapped in between the front and the facing, so you have this nice edge here, you know, and then when you put it right, like you have this nice sort of edge here. And so obviously you have to put the collar in before you close the top of your, like the facing and the front, right? But in the pattern it says to do this after. And so I'm like, how can you do this after? And then like add the collar later? But then, I don't know, it made no sense. I was so confused. Obviously, and that was my fault. I didn't read the pattern through before starting. So I did one step at a time, and then I got to that step and I was like, this is not working. I need to go back to another pattern. This is wrong. But that meant that I had to like undo a bunch of things, like unpick a bunch of stitches, but it's all right. So yeah, like lovely if you want, like lovely pattern to have to just get the pattern pieces and the sizing and all of this, but then maybe not the best for the instructions. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But I really love wearing it. It's really lovely. I've worn it a bit because again, like it's nice when it's warm, but also when it's cool. Like it's a shirt like I can wear a big cardigan over it or something if it's a bit cooler. So yeah, very happy. And the second one that I have, the second shirt, is the same shape basically, although it is a different pattern. And it is this shirt. It is a shape of blouse or shirt or whatever that I really like, and with like the collar like this, and then the short like rolled up sleeves. This is kind of a hack, I guess, of the Rita shirt dress by, I think Naked is the name of the brand. I'll put a picture of what the dress looks like. I have the dress in a couple of fabrics already, which I really like, and I thought I would like to have a shirt version as well, which is basically you do the dress, you just don't make it as long. I mean, you know, just very easy to modify and adjust. The fabric is also a fabric by Atelier Brunette, same as before. It is a viscose twill. It is very, very drapey, very light, very, very, very nice to wear. And I had this fabric, I bought this fabric last year, I think, last spring or summer, and I made a maxi wrap dress out of it for a wedding that I went to at the end of August last year. And it was great, served the purpose, it was fine. The thing is that I didn't really wear it after that, and I didn't really see myself wearing it anymore. I realized that that specific pattern of a wrap dress had like gathers at the waist, and it doesn't suit me. I don't like it. It doesn't suit me. So I didn't want to I had this dress hanging in my closet that I was never gonna use, and I was like, I need to do something about it. Thankfully, because the skirt was a maxi skirt and had gathers around the waist, it was a lot of fabric. And so I was able to reuse that fabric, plus a tiny bit of leftover that I had, to cut the shirt out of it. And I like the shirt a lot. I will definitely wear that top. So yeah, I'm very pleased. It's a great way to reuse fabric from a garment that I wouldn't wear and I would just be sitting there. And yeah. The pattern, I think, has 1 or 2 pockets on the front. I didn't put them there. It's got darts, which are actually quite well placed and well made. And yeah, same principle. And so the same kind of color. And so the instructions for this one are really good. So I used, because I'd done the dress before, I knew this pattern, I'd done it already. And so I used the instructions of this one to figure out how to sew the gingham one that I just showed, because it's basically the same kind of steps. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Very pleased with it. Yeah, I'm happy. I enjoy wearing it. It's very comfortable. I like viscose a lot. I think viscose is very, very lovely to wear, very comfortable to wear, and one of my favorite fabrics to use. It is a bit of a flowy, slippery fabric, and some people find it a bit tricky to sew because it kind of like slides and slips under your machine, but I honestly don't really have that problem. I use a lot of pins, so that keeps it in place. So yeah, and I've worn it a bit now, and I will continue wearing it throughout the year, because like the previous one, it's a top, it's a blouse, you can wear cardigan over it, so it works for all seasons and all weathers. So yeah, that is the end of my finished objects, and we're already 40 minutes in. It's going to be a bit of a long episode, but that's all right. Is it? All right, moving on to, let me wrap my shawl around just to break the white. It wasn't very smart of me to use, to wear a white shirt, because it's really blowing out with the light. I hope it's not too unpleasant for you. I'm sorry if it is. But yeah, if I put the shawl over it, it's kind of like breaks it up a bit. All right, there we go. Let's move on to my one work in progress. It's a knitting work in progress. And the reason I have only one is because I really want to finish it. And so I don't want the distraction of other ones. And this finished object it's a bit of a labor of love, but I'm really enjoying knitting it, so I don't mind. And it is an April cardigan by Petite Knit. I am keeping it in this really lovely bag. I absolutely love this bag. This is by Harriet of Wildwood Stitches. If you're new here, I also make bags for a living. I guess that's my job. And we did last year we did a swap. And so I sent her a bag, she sent me a bag, and this is the one that I picked, and I love it. I use it all the time. And the cardigan is this. Ta-da! It's not as orange as it shows on camera. Let me see if I can show the color. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. Yeah, the light is weird, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's how it is today. And yeah, so I've done all of the body, and I am now on the button band. I just did, last night I did the first row of the buttonholes, you know, like the row where you bind off, and now I have to do the, come back and do the row where you cast on new stitches so that you have your small hole for the buttons. The yarn that I'm using is Woolly Knit Cone, and it's their 100% British wool cones. I have lots of them. I've used quite a few already. I absolutely love it. This is the shade Cinnamon Brown. It's this lovely rust shade. Absolutely love it. It's really beautiful. I think it's one of, like, it's a favorite for a lot of people who buy Woolly Knit. It's one of their probably most popular colors. And yeah, I'm holding it double, so the pattern is written for DK weight yarn. I think it's written for like a fingering and a mohair. I'm not a big fan of using mohair, to be honest. I don't like, I find it really warm to the point that it's a bit too warm for me. I also like, I don't like the fluff flying around. It's just like fluff everywhere, and I have 3 cats and I have enough hair and fluff around my house. I don't need to like add more on purpose. And some, like a lot of mohair I do find itchy. Long Avicana I don't, and I think Knitting for Olive I don't, but a lot of the other ones I do find itchy. So it doesn't mean that I never ever use mohair, but I like, for my garments I kind of like the rustic feel too of not having mohair. So yeah, so like I said, this pattern is written for DK yarn. The Woolly Knit is a light fingering yarn on the cones, so I'm just holding it double. I got gauge like with the same size needle. I usually get gauge with Petite Knit, so I'm really happy with that. That was quite easy. And yeah, I'm making it in size small, I believe. I think Petite Knit I'm usually in between extra small and small. In this case, I decided to do a size small just so it wouldn't be like, I wanted a bit more positive ease than it shows on the picture. I also lengthened it quite a bit. I'm kind of exaggerating, but by a good like 5 or 6 centimeters the body, because on the Petite Knit pattern and on the picture that she uses, the ribbing sort of like starts at the waist and then continues, so it's kind of it's a somewhat cropped cardigan. I just wanted it a bit longer, a bit cozy, so I just, yeah, like the ribbing is like, I guess my hip bone is like halfway through the ribbing when I wear it, so yeah, that's kind of the length that I wanted. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, it was easy. I did have to think for a minute when I did the button band, because obviously I was not going to pick up the amount of stitches that she recommends because I lengthened it, but it was really good because she said like sort of like the rate at which you pick up stitches. She was like, pick up a stitch per row, so that was easy. I just went for it. I didn't really count my stitches, but it worked out fine. And then I was wondering when I was looking at where to put the buttonholes if my lengthening it meant that I might need to add an extra button. She asked for 4 buttons on the pattern, and I was like, maybe I should have 5, but then no, I did 4, and I think it looks quite nice. Like, I don't know if you can, yeah, you probably can't see it, but where the buttonholes are, but yeah, I've got 4 buttonholes. I think it will be just fine. I also don't really plan to wear, I rarely close up, like button up my cardigans, so it doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, I don't have buttons for it just yet. I need to buy some, but I'll just wait until I'm done with the cardigan. I might go to my local yarn shop, which is Ginger Twist Studio in Edinburgh, which is really close to me, and see what they have. I don't really know exactly what I want for it, so I might just go with an open mind and see what they've got, but I don't know. I think maybe like a big, basic wooden button would be really nice. I think on the pattern Petite Knit has like those like buttons with like faux like diamonds and glitters and things, which are definitely not my style, so this is not the kind of buttons I'm gonna get, but maybe some like nice wooden buttons would be nice. So yeah, I've done about half the button band, which like It takes a while, obviously, because I think I probably have like over 400 stitches on it. But I don't mind. I have the other half to do now. Then I'm going to spend a fair amount of time doing an Italian bind off on that, which again, I don't mind. I find that it's very meditative. I like it a lot. I did it on the like the bottom ribbing bit, and that was quite nice. My only issue with that kind of bind off is that like it feels like, or the way I've learned it anyway, is that you have to sort of estimate how much yarn you're going to need to finish all your bind off, and like they say like, oh, 3 times the length of it, 4 times the length of it, and then you just have like meters and meters and meters of yarn that you're like pulling through each stitch, and it's just like, it's such a pain. It gets tangled and everything, and yeah, so I've kind of actually stopped doing that. I'm just like pulling as much yarn as I feel comfortable using, and then when I run out, I just start a new one, and then I weave in those ends, and like I start with a new bit of yarn, and then I just weave the ends in, and yeah, that it works just fine, and that makes the process of binding off a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, what else to say about this cardigan? It is a, like, I hesitated when I first started that cardigan. I had this yarn, I wanted to make a cardigan. I didn't know if I was going to do the April cardigan or the Copenhagen cardigan, which has more of a round neck and a raglan construction. So I put a little poll on Instagram, and the April cardigan won the poll kind of, but also a few people commented that the Copenhagen cardigan, while really nice, doesn't sit the best on the body. Like it kind of slip back or slides back, and which was really good to know, because that's not really something that I want. So I was glad to do the April cardigan. I think it's called a saddle shoulder construction. This is what it looks like. So you start like cast on here, you do like increases on each side, and that creates that saddle, I guess. And then you have like some increases here, and then a different kind of increases right when you get under the sleeve. And it was really fun, I have to say. Like you do have to, it's not difficult. It's rated quite high on her website in terms of difficulty. I think it's like 4 out of 5 stars, but I don't think it's 4 out of 5 stars, honestly. It's maybe like 2 or maybe 3. It's not difficult, it's just that you have to pay attention. You have to count your rows properly, because while doing all the increases and all the things to shape the shoulders and the top of the sleeves, you also have to do increases to do the v-neck, because it's a v-neck cardigan, and you have to do increases on the wrong side as well, because you're knitting like back and forth. Obviously it's a cardigan, so you have to like purl some increases and all of this. But honestly, so yes, it requires a bit of attention, which is always fine when I start a project anyway. Like I don't mind at first, and then I like that if it goes a bit into like cruise mode. And I used lots of stitch markers. Like I used a lot of, like most of my stitch markers, just to like mark where the last row that I did increase one and like all that kind of thing. So I don't think I forgot any increases, and it made it easier for me to remember. Like I knew like, okay, I did an increase here, so the next time I do an increase like on the v-neck, it's going to be like 4 or 5 rows from now, and then until then I still need to do the sleeves and everything. So it was completely fine. Honestly, it wasn't difficult. It's just pay attention, that's all. Like pay attention and use stitch markers and count your rows. And that's only for the top part, right? Because once you've divided for the sleeves, it's just back and forth. Like it's just back and forth. There's no shaping to the body or anything. So yeah, really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to be able to wear it. I think it will block out really nicely. I'm really happy that there's not a lot of like rowing out. Like my tension is pretty good, actually. It's pretty even. And the little bits of unevenness that there is will definitely block out. So really happy about that. I need to finish the button band, and then I'll get on with the sleeves. I think I decided to keep the sleeves for the end, because first of all, I didn't want to do the button bands with having like the sleeves like flapping around every time I turn my project, and also because they're faster. Like they're smaller, they're faster, even the bind off is much faster. So I thought it would be nice to keep that till the end, you know. So yeah, that is my one and only work in progress right now. I might cast on like I would like to try a bralette or maybe another pair of socks soon, but right now I'm not really going many places, so I don't need to bring my knitting many places, so I'm fine to have just this cardigan to knit on at home, because obviously it's kind of too big to bring and knit out and about. But yeah, hopefully by the next time I record a podcast it will be finished and I will be able to wear it and I will be very happy. So yeah, the April cardigan by Petite Knit, to be continued. Moving on now to acquisitions. I have quite a few acquisitions to show you because there are a few events, I guess. Like I said before, in June was my husband and I like anniversary of when we started dating, I guess, and he gifted me some yarn, so I will show you that. And then I also went in early June as well to a brand new yarn festival in Galashiels in the Borders in Scotland, so it's like about an hour south of Edinburgh. It's the first year that this event is being held. It was absolutely amazing. They're definitely doing it again next year and I can't wait. And yeah, I went there and I bought some stuff. So yeah, let me show you. Let me show you. Here it is in my little basket. All the beautiful yarn. So like I said before, I'm on this bit of a project of trying out no nylon, non-superwash yarn, which is what all of this yarn is, which made it actually really nice when I went to that yarn festival, because I didn't really want to buy a sweater quantity. I didn't want to buy like the random odd ones kind of thing that I don't know what I'm going to do. So I went there with the intention of like, okay, I'm going to look for like no nylon, non-superwash sock yarn. And if I find something I like, I will buy that. And if I don't, I won't buy anything. And so that was really, really nice. And I did find a couple of things, which are these two beautiful, beautiful yarns. The first one, let's start with this like green color, because it's blowing up a little bit. Like the bottom of the skein is truer to color than the top here on the screen. It is by Whistlebear, which is a lovely, I think I'd call it a farm. Like they grow their own yarn, they spun it and they spin it in Yorkshire and then they dye it themselves, I believe. Ooh, there's hair, my hair this time, not the cat's. And this is, yeah, this is called Cuthbert Socks, 300 meters per 100 grams. Lovely label. I really like this little art. It's really cute. And so this is made. It's called No Nylon British Yarn, 80% Whistlebear's own mohair and 20% Whistlebear's own Wensleydale wool. So it's another one that has mohair, like the white one that I, like the natural colored one that I showed you before, except the other one was mostly mohair and a bit of Shetland. And this one is mostly mohair and a bit of Wensleydale, which I'm really excited about. And the color I believe is called Sheepfold. It's like a really nice muted like sage green. And yeah, it's really, really soft. It has like a gorgeous sheen. I don't know if it comes off. Yeah, I guess it comes off on camera. Like you can see it here. Really, really beautiful. I'm looking forward to knitting with that yarn, and I am going to make the Grow Socks by Fibertails. I will put a picture. The second one that I bought at that festival is this one by Black Isle Yarn. So I think Whistlebear, they're based in England, in Northern England. I want to say Yorkshire, Northumberland. So yeah, Northern England. Black Isle Yarns are based in Scotland, and it says grown in the Highlands and spun in the UK. And it is their natural sock yarn. And it is a blend of BFL and mohair, so 80% BFL and 20% mohair. I think mohair is often used as a alternative to nylon for like the sturdiness in socks. So is silk sometimes. So yeah, 80% BFL, 20% mohair, and the BFL comes from Scotland, the mohair comes from South Africa. This is the colorway Rust, which is like a lovely, I think it's naturally dyed as well because it says walnut and fustic, I don't know what that means, but I think it's probably a plant of some sort. Let me know if you know what it is. And it's a fingering weight. So, oh, it even says the clipping year, clipped in 2020, or I guess like sheared, or yeah. Very beautiful. Can't wait to knit with that as well. And I will make the Humblebee socks again by Fiber Tales. I made the shawl. I really love this shawl. I wear it all the time. The only thing with the socks is that the little bumblebee pattern needs to be knit like bottom up for it to work. And so the pattern the socks is knit toe up, which, like I said before, not a biggest fan. So I think what I'm gonna do, I would like to avoid it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the leg on a provisional cast on, do the leg like bottom up, do the bees, do the cuff, bind off, whatever. And then when that is done, I will pick up my stitches, like my provisional cast on, and then knit the rest of the foot, like going towards the toe. So I can still do like a heel flap and gusset, the toe, and yeah, do it that way. So it would be like half up, half toe up, half like cuff down for that sock. But I think this is how I'm gonna do it, and hopefully it works, because I've never done it before, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. So yeah. Second acquisition, another lovely sock yarn. Another acquisition, again lovely sock yarn, is this. So actually the Miss Marple sock yarn that I used before by Wild and Bear. So this I bought like since my last episode, so it is an acquisition. And I wasn't really, like, she had amazing colors on the website, and I couldn't decide between that like muted lilac color and that like really nice deep plum color. And so I put it to a vote on Instagram. I was like, people help me choose a color, please. I don't know what to do. And it came so close, so close. But this one won the poll eventually. So I ordered this one, really happy to. But the lovely dyer, the lovely lady who makes this lovely yarn, sent me this as well. So I don't know, maybe I should say like ad gifted. It's not really an ad, but it was a gift. And yeah, I was really touched. I wasn't expecting it. It was so lovely of her. So I do have another one of these in that beautiful rich plum color, and it's the same blend, like 89.5 blend of Exmoor, Horn, Dartmoor, and oh, this one says close wool and texel, and then 10.5% tencel, which yeah, and this is the colorway Flora. The other one was the colorway Sky. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet with this one. Probably some sort of textured or lace pattern. I just need to have a look. I haven't really looked, to be honest. So yeah, that's another acquisition in the No Nylon Non Superwash sock series. And then the last one is still sock yarn. It's still No Nylon Non Superwash sock yarn. And it's a bit of a funny story. Sorry. Oh, I speak and I talk and then my throat gets really dry and I cough. So for our like anniversary of when we met with my husband, so like I said, we celebrated each year, we give each other a little gift or something. And so for gifts, what I do usually is that like we each have sort of a shared notes on our phone, which is like a wish list. We each have like, and whenever there's something that we'd like, oh, that's nice, I would like it, I don't know if I want to buy it, but that would make a lovely gift, we put it on that list so that whenever the other wants to give the other a present for like an anniversary or a birthday, a Christmas, whatever, like we can just go on that list and pick something that like we like, but that we also know that the person would like because it's something that they've put on the list, right? On the wish list. And so for this, like at this specific time in June for our anniversary, like on my list was 4 skeins of Woolly Mammoth Fiberco Hearth socks, and I had written at the top, any one of these is great. I guess my husband either didn't read that part or didn't care, and he bought me all 4 of those. All 4 of the skeins that were on my list, which is like so much. I'm very grateful, honestly, like very, very grateful. It's just so much. Like I was just like 1K would have made me so, so happy, and he went and bought all 4 of them. So yeah, he says he didn't read that part. I'm not entirely sure I believe him, but not gonna complain about, you know, being gifted a lot of yarn. So there we go. And so let me show you the socks that or like the yarn that I had picked. So here they are. I'm gonna show them one by one. So they all like the hearth sock blend. So 330 meter per 100 gram, 50% Jacob, 50% BFL, spun and made in the UK, fiber origin in the UK as well, and dyed in Northern Ireland by Emma. So this one, the colorway is called Water Butt, and it is a lovely blue, like a gray blue kind of color. Absolutely love it. Really beautiful. I love the feel of it as well. So I can't wait to like knit with them and see how they feel in my hands and how they feel on my toe beans. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I do want for that little challenge of trying out non-nylon, non-superwash socks to use nice like patterns that are a bit fancier, like that have like texture, cables, lace, maybe a bit of color work or stripes or something, like just not like a plain vanilla sock, just I don't know, because to make it extra special. But yeah, so I don't know. I have a bunch of I have the 252 weeks of sock books, and I have their sock patterns like all over my Ravelry and everywhere, so I'm sure I'll find something. So yeah, this one, then this one, which I really love. It's like kind of brown red, but it's got all sorts, it's got a bit of yellow in it, it's got all sorts of like random colors, and it is called, the colorway is called Potting Shed, which is lovely. I think for this I would like to make a rib socks with quite a long leg that you can fold over, so I'm probably going to do that without a pattern. I know like from using sock yarns that have a similar yardage, so about 350 meters per 100 grams, like the Miss Marple one. This one I had about 19 grams left at the end. So I know that I could, I mean, rib uses a bit more, but I know that I can make the leg a little bit longer and then like fold it. So yeah, I will do that. This is going to be like a cozy ribbed socks. I also think like ribbing and socks just make them fit so well. The other one is a sock set. This is the one before last. This is called Peony Rouge sock set, I think. So this is Peony Rouge, and I think this is maybe Cognac. Yeah, I think it might be her Cognac colorway. So it is this lovely set. And I think for this, I am going to do, I've seen a couple of patterns in the newer 52 weeks of socks where like just below the cuff there's like a little band of color work, and then I think the heels and the toes are different colors. So I think I might do that because I think it would look quite nice. It's not the highest contrast, but I think it could look quite nice. So I think I might do that for these. And then the last one is still the hearth sock base, but it's a mini skein bundle. So it's got like a gray, I think this might be her peony colorway, like a sort of rose gold kind of color, a lilac, this yellowy mustardy color, and then this kind of purpley color. And I think for this, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna stripe these 4 colors, and then I'm gonna use the gray for the heels and the toes. I think I might change my mind, but I think I'm gonna do that. And the set is called, it's called Cozy Cabin Mini Skein Set. So yeah, super excited to try this yarn. I've never tried Woolly Mammoth sock yarn. I think I will purchase at some point the natural sock yarn, which is her other blend, which I don't remember what it's made of, but it is her other natural blend. So because I would like to try it as well as part of my little like no nylon non superwash sock challenge. and just to see how different it feels from this one. But this feels so good. Like this is like rustic, but in a really good, nice, cozy, warm way. And I can't wait to start knitting on those. So yeah. And then that's all for the yarn acquisition. And I just bought a couple needles. I don't know if it's really interesting, but I'm going to show you anyway. Just this week I bought these 2 needles. So if you've been here a while, you might know that I own the Shawl interchangeable sets. I have the full like longer needle set, and then I have the 3 like shorty sets. This is all I knit with. I don't really have fixed circulars. I don't have like GPNs or anything like that. I just use that set and it's worked for me really, really well. But I had a thought the other day, and now let me get a sock to show you. So when I knit my socks, I don't know why exactly, but when I do the heel turn, it always rolls out like massively. And then when I start knitting in the round again, it's completely fine. And it does this on all my socks, even like the superwash ones, like it does this on all my socks. And I was like, well, what is going on? Because I showed the cardigan before that I'm knitting on, like I'm not rowing out that much on, like sometimes it's a bit uneven, but I'm not like rowing out to that extent on like a cardigan. So I know that I can knit and purl with the same tension. So what is happening here? And I was thinking, because I'm knitting with the shorty, like the really tiny 9-inch circular needles when I do my socks, and then I put them on a longer cable when I knit flat, so for like the heel flap and the heel turn, but the needles are still really small. And so I wonder if like just knitting flat with such tiny needles is like messing up my gauge a bit, or messing up my tension, or I don't know. So I thought maybe that's a thing. Let's see if that's a thing. And so I've bought like fixed circulars, like longer needles, just for that, just to do like you would use for magic loop, but just to knit the heel flap, the heel turn, and the toe, although the toe isn't around, so it doesn't matter as much. But like, and I'm gonna see if just having it on a longer needle like that is making it more comfortable with my hands and is maybe solving that like rowing out issue. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that was a good idea? Do you think that makes sense? I'll give it a try. I will let you know. I'm not bothered by it, honestly. Like I'm not bothered by the rowing out under my heel. Like it is the most invisible part of the sock, but I don't know why it's happening. And so I would like to try and find out. So yeah, I got 2 of these. I got a it's the 60 centimeter like fixed circular red lace Shawl needles. I got in 2.5 and 2.25. I knit my socks usually on 2.5 millimeter, but occasionally I've used 2.25, so I just wanted to have both. They're not very expensive, so I could just get both. It was fine. So yeah, we'll try. Let me know if you also have or have had that issue of like the heel turn just looking weird, and if you know why, and if you've solved it, how. And yeah, let me know. All right, that is it for acquisition. Oh no, that is not it for acquisition. One last thing that I acquired ever since my last podcast, which was like many weeks ago, is a project bag. So I showed you before the lovely project bags that I got from Harriet of Wildwood Stitches. This was her medium size, the shawl size, and I love it so much that I wanted to get another one in the small size for my little socks and hat projects. And this is what I got. She posted on Instagram that this was the last that she was going to do in that fabric because she just was running out of that fabric. And I was like, I love it so much, I need to have one. And so I got one, and it's so beautiful. I love the green here. I love the fabric here with the little ginger coos. Very Scottish. It's got a lovely zipper, and then the inside is that lining, and I love it so much. This is all I use. This is my my 2 bags. I absolutely love them. I use them all the time because, like I've said in the past, yes, I do make bags as well. I make project bags as my job, and so kind of as a result of that, I don't really want to use them when I'm not working, which I think is okay. I think it's understandable, like that I don't. Like, while I love my bags and like they're work really well, and I will use them sometimes, especially like the small ones for socks and everything. It's not that they don't work well, it's just that like to me they're like seeing them means work, and I don't want that. Sometimes I want my work, like when I finish working some days I just want all my work stuff in my office or in my small studio at home. I close the door and that's it. And so when I go and knit on the couch on my own projects for fun or whatever, I like to have them in other bags. So yeah, this is what I have chosen as my absolute favorite bags. This one, the small one, and then the medium one, which as you can see now that I finished the body I finished the body and I have like 2 full skeins of yarn attached to it right now. Is a bit small for a sweater or a cardigan. It would be great for a shawl and like things like that, but right now it's a bit small. So I'm thinking maybe in the future of getting also another one of her larger size, just to have one for sweaters and things like that, and kind of have my lovely little collection. Kind of waiting to see what new fabrics she has coming up. And yeah, I think the large one, the really big ones, also have like a handle, which I wouldn't need really. So I don't know, if I ever purchase what I might ask her if I can have it without the handle, but yeah, I'll let you know. We're not there yet. So yeah, that was the last of my acquisitions, and I love it so much. So yep. All right, moving on. What else did I want to talk about today? Yeah, the next segment would be shop news. Feel free to skip if that's not something you're interested, but I have some exciting news about the shop that I can't wait to share with you. I have been on a big, I've been designing a lot over the summer, just getting things ready for the rest of the year basically. I'm not going to show everything that I've designed and that will be released in like late autumn or early winter. I'll show that later, but I have a few things coming up for autumn and that I would like to share with you. But first, I wanted to share these stitch markers that I've talked about before. It is the stitch markers that I created in, I'll put a picture, that I created in collaboration with Making Stories for their April sock box. Let me see if I can show you a little bit. It's kind of hard to show always, but yeah, it was those little like pink flowers. The picture will be better. And yeah, so I designed those in collaboration with Making Stories. Great success, and now they're available in my shop as a standalone stitch marker set, like without the yarn that was included originally in the yarn in the sock box. But yeah, so I call them Cherry Blossoms, and they are available in my shop now, so that's exciting. And then one that I just posted about yesterday, I think, on Instagram, is this. It will be coming up, will be available in the shop in a couple of, or next week I think, on the Sunday the 13th I believe, and it is a Halloween themed stitch marker set, and it looks like this. Again, I'll put a picture, but I'm gonna try and show you like this if I can. So yeah, it's got a little jack-o'-lantern, a little ghost, and a little spider, like a light purple spider. It's really fun, really cute. And yeah, this is going to be a limited edition. It is going to be in that after Halloween, I'm just going to take it off the website because I don't know, I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep them on there once Halloween is over. I'm going to release those, like I said, like next week, I think Sunday the 13th of August on a pre-order basis, and the pre-orders will be open until the first Sunday of September, which I think is the 3rd. The reason I'm doing that is just because, first of all, I don't want to make more than I need because they're going to be limited edition, and I don't want to just them sitting there. So I want to make as many as people want, and also because that way I can ship them in early September and make sure that everyone has them. I mean, make sure I don't have control over the post office, but hopefully have enough time for people to get their set before October start, so that for everyone out there who does a bit of Halloween knitting, like Halloween socks or anything like that, they would have their stitch markers ready to start in October, which is what I'm going to do. I have some fun yarn, I'm going to do some Halloween socks, and I'm going to use those cute markers. after the pre-order period ends, the markers will still be available on my website on a made-to-order basis until Halloween, basically, and then I'll take them off. So you can, even if you don't pre-order them, you can still order them later on in September or something. It just means they might not arrive in time for October if that's something that's important to you. If you don't really care about that, then yeah, that's fine. So yeah, those are my Halloween stitch markers. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is a set of autumnal things. And by things, I mean a project bag, a notions pouch, and a set of stitch markers, all matching. So here is the project bag. It's going to be available in all 3 sizes as usual, small, medium, and large. All the specs are on my website, and this is what it looks like. I went for the pumpkin theme this year, and yeah, this is what it looks like. This is the small that I have in my hand right now. It's great for like socks and hats and things. It's got drawstring at the top and yeah, a round base, and yeah, just a basic bag with lovely embroidery on it. So this is the bag. This is the matching notions pouch with the zipper. So it goes, they go well together. And then these are the, I need to find a better way of doing this. Hold on, we're getting there. And these are the stitch markers. It's like 3 little pumpkins, the same colors as on the bag. And yeah. So all of this will be released and available on my website from the 27th of August, so at the end of the month. Yeah, at the moment there's stitch markers available on the website. There's no bags or notions pouches. I haven't stocked them at the moment just because this summer has been really great for the shop, actually, like a lot better than I was anticipating, because usually summers are a bit slow. It's true for everyone in sort of like knitting yarny business. Like people just knit less in summer, so there's less business, which is absolutely normal. But surprisingly, my shop has been doing really well. Not particularly from like individual order, because that has definitely slowed down, absolutely normal, but from wholesale order, which has been doing really, really good. I have a few new stockists now, which I'm not really going to announce here because I don't, like, they haven't announced it themselves. I'm still working on the orders, so I'll just let them announce it when they want, and then I'll announce it after that. But yeah, so I've been very busy making a bunch of wholesale orders. I've also been busy working on advent calendar things. Two yarn dyers will have some of my stitch markers in their advent calendars this year, which is really exciting. One, again, hasn't announced it, so it's keeping it a surprise, so I'm not going to say. The other has announced it on Instagram, so it is Nellie and Eve. She's a lovely yarn dyer based in Wales. And yeah, if you order her advent calendar, which I don't know if she has anymore, or if you have ordered it, then there will be some stitch markers included in that. Stitch markers that are in my shop already. No custom design this year. The other advent calendar that I'm working on is like an entirely new design that I'm creating specifically for that calendar, which is, if I can say so myself, really beautiful. Like I really, really like how those markers are looking, and yeah, I'm really happy with them. So yeah, I will let you know as soon as I can. But I don't think it's like a massive secret, but also like the dyer hasn't said, so I don't want to say either, because I think they should be the one to say first. So yeah, anyway, it's been a very good summer for the shop, which I'm very, very happy about. It's been very busy, which is why I haven't stocked a lot of bags and notions pouches on my website, because these take quite a lot of time to make compared to stitch markers, and because there's less demand in summer anyway, so I thought it was okay to do that. So I will restock my bags and notions pouches on the 27th of August when the autumn collection comes out, but stitch markers are available on the website at all times. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I think that's all for shop news. As always, if you've purchased things from my shop, thank you so much. Your support means so much. It's been, I think July was the 1 year anniversary of me doing this full time, and it was a risk, obviously, to switch to this kind of job full time. But it has been so worth it. Like, it's been so much more successful than I anticipated, and that's all thanks to you and your support. So yeah, thank you, really thank you. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if I've got much else to say. I mean, life has been, like I said, work has been busy. Life has been a bit overwhelming over the summer. I feel like, I don't know, it might not be just me. I feel like July and August are always kind of strange month, because like going to school when you're young, and then like going to university, and then like earlier in my like work life, I guess I worked at university for a while, so I was always on that sort of like school schedule where July and August were kind of off month, or like no classes or more, and which doesn't apply to my job right now, obviously, but it's just I have less energy, I think, in July and August, just because of that conditioning of like, oh, it's supposed to be like holidays and vacation, like everyone go, not everyone, but a lot of people go on vacation in August as well, or in July, because well, that's when their kids are around, and that's when their kids are not in school, and that's when they can go. And so yeah, it feels like I'm feeling tired, but at the same time, like, this is not when I'm taking my vacation, and this is a time where I actually surprisingly have a lot of work, which I'm very grateful for. So balancing that has been a bit tricky. It's been okay. Like, I'm not, you know, nothing is absolutely horrible, but it is a bit tricky, and I've been a bit tired. But yeah, things are getting better. Things are improving. I feel like I'm less overwhelmed. I've switched to Notion. I don't know if you know it. Like, I think it's quite popular, but I'm always like behind on. I'm always late to the party on all those kinds of things. But Notion is like a kind of like a planner that you have on your phone. It's an app, a planning app, and I started using that in July to sort of like, you know, like get my shit together a little bit and get things like organized and feel a bit more in control of my time and all of this. And it's been so great. Like, it's been a lifesaver, I have to say, because now I just have like tons of like checklist, and it's helped me be a lot more realistic about how much I can actually do in a day, which was always my issue. I always think that I can do more than I actually can, and then I get stressed out because I'm not on track and all of this. And yeah, with using this app, it's been like so much better. It's helped me like work out a routine as well for like the morning and the evening, like before and after work, and that has helped a lot. And it's just helped because it's helped me not have to remember so much things. Like before using Notion, I used to use a bullet journal, but I didn't carry my bullet journal around with me all the time. And so when I was out and about and something came up, I was like, oh, I have to remember to write this down when I get home, and then I would forget, and then my brain was just too full, and I was getting so tired and so overwhelmed. And now having this app on my phone, having it customized it to work for me perfectly, it means that I have so much more brain space, because I don't have to remember all those tiny things. I just write it down, and that's that, and I know I will see it when the time comes to deal with it. And yeah, so it's been great. It's been really great. So I'm feeling much better now. And yeah, so it's getting better. July was difficult, but now it's getting a lot better, which I'm excited about. I'm excited about all the new things that are coming up with the shop in September, October, all the way till December. Like, lots of new designs that I really like, lots of really cool projects, lots of really cool new stockists. So that's really exciting. And then I'm looking forward for my summer vacation that my husband and I are taking time off at the end of September. We're going to Shetland for a whole week, which I'm really excited about. I definitely need a bit of a rest and a bit of a proper break. So that's going to be absolutely lovely. Looking forward to that. And then yeah, in October, my dad and my sister are going to come and visit for a little bit, which is also really nice and really fun, and I can't wait. And yeah, what else is coming up? Yeah, a couple of yarn festivals that I'm also excited about. So there's Perth Yarn Festival, or like the Scottish Yarn Festival in Perth at the beginning of September, which I'm going to go as a visitor. I'm not going as a vendor, but I'm going as a visitor, which I'm really excited about. If you're going as well, please come and say hi. So yeah, that will be fun. And then at the end of September is Glasgow School of Yarn. So the Yarn Festival in Glasgow, which I will also go to as a visitor, which I'm really excited about, is during my dad and sister's visit. So they're going to come with me. My sister doesn't knit, my dad crochets, so he might find some nice yarn that he likes for himself. But yeah, really looking forward to that. And then we'll see. Then it's later. It's too late. It's too far in the future to think about right now. So then yeah, but we'll see. So yeah, that's what life has been like for the past few weeks, few months, but busy, a bit overwhelming, but everything seems to be getting a bit more under control right now, which is really nice. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say. It's quite a long episode already, so it's probably good that I just, stop talking. Thank you so very much for watching until the end. If you've made it until the end, thank you very much for watching, period. It was lovely to have you here. If you are not subscribed already, please consider doing so. That's what really helps our channels grow, us podcasters. Like subscribes and comments and likes, that really helps. So yeah, and yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.